Samuel's story begins long before he ever spoke with God, in a time when Israel had no king, and the word of the Lord was rarely heard. The people lived scattered, the tribes were often at odds with one another, and the spiritual life of the nation had grown dim. Yet even in that dimness, God was quietly preparing a voice that would change the future of his people. There was a woman named Hannah, who longed for a child more than anything. Each year she traveled with her husband to Shiloh, where the tabernacle of God stood, to worship and offer sacrifices. But though the years passed, her arms remained empty. Hannah carried her sorrow silently, pouring it out in prayer. In her deepest grief, she made a vow that if the Lord gave her a son, she would dedicate him to God for all the days of his life. In time, God heard her prayer, and Hannah gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked him of the Lord." For the first years of Samuel's life, Hannah kept him close, cherishing the child she had prayed for. But when Samuel was still very young, she returned to the tabernacle at Shiloh. There, she placed him under the care of Eli the priest, and true to her vow, dedicated him to the service of the Lord. Samuel grew up in a sacred environment, though he was just a boy. He swept the floors, tended to the lamps, and learned to serve in the presence of God. The culture of Israel was drifting. Yet within the walls of the tabernacle, a different story was forming, one of quiet obedience and preparation. But even as Samuel served faithfully, the spiritual condition of Israel's leadership was fragile. Eli was aging, and though he cared for Samuel, his own household struggled. His sons, who should have served God with honor, treated the Lord's offerings with disrespect, and the nation suffered for it. The people of Israel needed guidance, but there was no clear voice, and visions were rare in those days. Then came the night that changed everything. The lamps in the tabernacle flickered as evening stretched into darkness. Samuel lay down to rest, and aware that God was about to speak. In the stillness, a voice broke into the silence and called his name. Thinking Eli had summoned him, Samuel ran quickly and presented himself, but Eli had not called. Samuel returned to his bed, puzzled, only to hear the voice again. A second time he ran, and then a third, until Eli finally understood that something extraordinary was happening. Realizing that it was the Lord who was calling, Eli instructed the young boy on how to answer. So Samuel returned to his place, waiting and listening. When the voice came again, Samuel responded in humble readiness. From that moment on, the Lord began to reveal his word to Samuel. Though the first message was heavy concerning the future of Eli's household, Samuel did not turn away from the truth. With time, the word of the Lord became frequent once again in Israel, and the nation recognized that Samuel was a true prophet. From the northern hills to the southern valleys, his reputation spread, not because he sought honor, but because God had chosen to speak through him. As Samuel entered adulthood, he carried multiple roles. He was not only a prophet but also a judge, guiding the people in matters both spiritual and civil. When the Philistines threatened Israel, Samuel prayed earnestly, and God delivered the nation from their enemies. For a time, peace followed, and Israel turned back toward the Lord. Yet peace seldom lasts without vigilance. And as Samuel aged, the people grew restless. They looked at the nations around them and saw kings, leaders who fought their battles and ruled with power. Israel began to demand the same. They no longer wanted to be distinct. They wanted to be like the kingdoms that surrounded them. Samuel warned them, reminding them that a king would bring both authority and burden. He spoke of the heavy expectations a king would place on the people, taking their sons for war, their lands for service, and their resources for his own needs. But the nation would not relent. They insisted, and the Lord instructed Samuel to grant their request. Thus Samuel anointed Saul, a man who stood head and shoulders above the rest. Saul began his reign with humility, and the people were pleased. For a time, things went well, but Saul's heart grew divided. Though Samuel foresaw where this path led, he continued to serve as God's voice, always guiding, always warning when needed. Eventually, Saul's disobedience toward God became impossible to ignore. The Lord rejected him as king, and Samuel grieved deeply, but God had already chosen another. So Samuel traveled to Bethlehem, where he anointed David, a young shepherd who seemed insignificant to the world but was seen differently by God. From that point forward, Israel moved steadily toward a new era. Samuel continued to lead, though his role shifted as the monarchy began to take shape, even as kings ascended and political power changed hands. Samuel remained a spiritual anchor, a steady voice calling the people back to the Lord. In his final years, Samuel continued to judge Israel with integrity. He feared neither the powerful nor the popular. He accepted no bribes, sought no gain, and left behind no scandal. His greatest legacy was not political, but spiritual. He restored the voice of God to a nation that had grown accustomed to silence. When Samuel passed, the entire nation mourned. From the smallest villages to the highest places, people remembered the boy who once lay listening in the quiet of the tabernacle, and who grew into a prophet who shaped the destiny of Israel. His devotion became a pattern for generations, reminding Israel that God still speaks and that the greatest leaders are those who listen. Samuel's life demonstrates that God often begins his work long before anyone notices. Through a praying mother, through a child dedicated to service, through years of faithful obedience, and through a quiet voice in the night, God prepared a man who would guide a nation.